Hi, it's Lindsay Carlson here. I just reviewed the Gamera Showa era set from Arrow Video. I'll include a link to that up above if you want to watch that when this video is over. But today we're going further down the Gamera rabbit hole, and we're looking at the second of the two Arrow Video sets, this being Gamera the Heisei era. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. Just a brief explanation regarding the eras of the films. You'll see a lot of fictional works in Japan that are identified by what era they belong to. For instance, the previous set was the Showa era. The Showa era was the time in Japan in which Hirohito was emperor. The Heisei era refers to the period in which his son Akihito was emperor. The current era in Japan is the Reiwa era, in which Akihito's eldest son Naruhito became emperor. There haven't been any Gamera films released in the Reiwa era yet. There's our cover art. Just like the first set, but kind of on the opposite side. If you do put this together with the first set, again, like I said in the earlier video, you can form a panoramic picture with the two artworks. There's the spine text with the names of the films. Only 4 films in this collection, but each one gets its own disc. Back cover. The film starts out with the mid-90s release, Gamera, the Guardian of the Universe. And the first 3 films in this set form a trilogy of sorts in that they're actually direct sequels. Here's an ad for Arrow Video streaming service. There's an ad on the back for a movie called Fighting Back. Here's the disc. And we have reversible artwork underneath as well. Next in the set we have Gamera 2, Attack of Legion. Here's the disc. And here's the reversible artwork. We then have Gamera 3, Revenge of Iris. There's the disc. And here's the reversible art. The final film in the series, the only one to come out after the turn of the millennium, is Gamera the Brave. Here's our disc. And the reversible art. After laying dormant for 15 years, Gamera was rebooted for the big screen in a smash hit trilogy masterminded by director Shusuke Kaneko, writer Kazunori Ito, and SFX director Shinji Higuchi, trading the campy, kid-friendly surrealism of the earlier films for a darker, more realistic tone and jaw-droppingly innovative special effects. The Heisei trilogy are still regarded today as among the best and some of the very best kaiju films ever made. This unmissable trio is complemented by a bonus disc featuring Gamera the Brave, a heartwarming mix of family-friendly adventure and cutting-edge kaiju action that is the most recent Gamera film to date. Again, back in the day, there were a lot of companies that were making monster kaiju movies trying to cash in on the success of Godzilla. Gamera largely began under those same circumstances, although of course Gamera has always had to live in the shadow of the big guy. This prehistoric turtle with jets that he flies around with, of course, has certainly won over the hearts of many fans all around the world, and his movies are certainly entertaining. Of course, the original film back in the Showa era was a much more serious, gripping film, similar to the original Godzilla film, but by the time they got to the sequels, we started getting monster versus monster stuff, and they became increasingly campy and silly, so by the end of the Showa era, it becomes something of a laughing stock. The Heisei era was an attempt to bring this character back to its roots with some slightly more serious storylines and better fleshed out characters, and the results certainly speak for themselves. While some of these CG effects don't exactly hold up the best about 30 years later, these are for the most part much better films than the ones we got during the increasingly campy Showa era, with gripping, actually interesting and developed human characters, something that kaiju movies often lack, and Gamera finding himself in some interesting battles and situations. Of course, the first 3 films form a pretty serious trilogy, and those are very entertaining. But Gamera the Brave, the latter film in this set, is the one that actually surprised me the most. It sort of goes back to the childlike wonder and innocence of those older Showa-era films, but it also retains the more modern realism as well, and it manages to be the one movie that's like the perfect balance between the two extremes, seeing a younger Gamera growing up to do battle with a monster that's terrorizing Japan. I certainly love these films. You do get less of them in this set than you do the Showa era because obviously less films were made. But at large, these films tend to be the better ones of the bunch, and I'm very happy to finally get them in a Blu-ray set. All the movies look very good. Again, these came out more recently than the Showa era ones, so it stands to reason that they'd have bigger budgets and production. Picture quality is very good throughout. I mean, if we eventually do get 4K releases of the Gamera movies, you could probably source them from these same masters and that'd still look amazing. But overall, what we have right now is the Blu-rays, and they do look very good. Each of the movies does have several bonus features. We have some of those intros to the movies like we've got in the Showa era set as well. A lot of trailers, artwork galleries, and a lot of assorted, press materials, EPK type, featurettes, and the like. There's a ton of stuff here, and fans of Gamera certainly won't be bored. I can give this set a very high recommendation to anyone who's a fan of kaiju cinema. How about you? Are you a fan of Gamera? How do you think Gamera stacks up to Godzilla? Do you think we'll ever see those two duke it out on the big screen? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Tilly T. Carlson. See you next time.